Hi, my name's Lauren, and welcome back to the Ritual Club. If you're new here, this is a cozy little corner of the internet where we try to slow down together. We take our masks off, we let our shoulders just drop a little bit, and just be here for a while. This is not about productivity. It's not about fixing yourself or performing for anyone. It's about coming home to who you really are with the messiness and all. It's about making space for the feelings we don't always say out loud. But this series is called Cup of Calm, and the idea is pretty simple. We pour a warm drink. I have my lemon ginger tea here. And we just get honest with ourselves. And we let a gentle reflection unfold, if you will, like a conversation with a friend, or that's what I want it to feel like. Oh, see ya. My tea's a little hot, so I'm gonna put it down for now. Well, each episode is supposed to feel like a small little ritual, a pause, a chance to meet yourself where you are, right here and now. No changes, no expectations. So, if you clicked on this today, I'm guessing it's because you're feeling something. Maybe you're feeling a lot. Maybe you're tired, not just in your body, but in your heart. Maybe you're feeling a little undone, or like no one really sees how much you might be holding up behind the scenes. And maybe quietly under all of that, there's this whisper. And it might be saying, "Am I too much?" And if that's where you are right now, stay and let's sit in it a bit together. I think we live in a world that teaches us to measure love by those shiny moments, the highlight real kind of stuff on Instagram, the romance, the laughter, the comments, the likes, the flowers, the good morning texts, the feeling of being chosen. And don't get me wrong, I think there's a lot of love there. That is love. But it's not the whole story. Because real love, the kind that lasts, the kind that sustains you through the messiness of being human, it doesn't just live in the light. It lives in the shadow places too. And in the moments when you're not okay, in the moments when you choose to stay soft, even when you might want to harden that exterior a little bit, or even the interior a little bit. Sometimes when you're a deep feeler, similar to how I feel a lot of times, we tend to move through life with an open heart. And it can start to feel like a liability, like you're doing something wrong. Maybe you've been told before that you're being too emotional, that you need to toughen up or let it go, or you're overthinking. Maybe you've internalized that idea without anyone having to even say it out loud. You watch how some people might move through life almost like skimming the surface. Like you wonder, how do they stay so light and breezy? And then you start to kind of turn it inward. Why do I carry things so deeply? Why do I hold on to what most people might forget? Why do I feel so much? But here's what I have to offer you today. That sensitivity, that tenderness, that's love too. It's a quieter kind for sure. It's the love that shows up when you pause and reflect on maybe your chest feeling really heavy, and you just don't want to pretend it doesn't. It's the love that lets you cry in the shower because you need to release something, even if you can't necessarily name what that something is in that moment. It's the love that cancels a plan, not because you don't care, but because you care enough to protect your peace. That's not failure. That's not weakness. That's self-honesty. And that's real love in action, you know? Sometimes love sounds like no, or not yet, or this doesn't feel right anymore. Sometimes it's just making it to the end of the day and still choosing to be kind to yourself. We don't always recognize that love because it's not the kind that normally gets celebrated. It's not the love that makes it into the photos and into the captions and into the TikToks or whatever. But it might just be the love that lasts the longest because it teaches you how to stay with yourself. So if you've ever felt like you're too much, too sensitive, too emotional, too intense, please hear me when I say this. You're not too much. You're attuned. You notice things other people miss. You feel things other people avoid. You hold space for emotions that most people run from. And yeah, sometimes that's exhausting. Sometimes it's lonely. But it's also kind of magic. You might not be the loudest person in the room. Though I cannot speak for myself, I am a fairly loud person. But you're the one who remembers what someone said last week when they were maybe quietly falling apart. Or maybe they confided in you and you followed up with them because you cared. You're the one who senses the shift in someone's tone, the change in their energy. You're the one who can sit with grief, your own grief or someone else's grief, without trying to rush it away. That's not fragility. That's not overreacting. That's love. It's the behind the scenes kind of love. But still, I get it. Sometimes you wonder if all this tenderness is worth it. It can feel like you're pouring and pouring and wondering if it's ever going to come back to meet you. And that's why I want to remind you of something very simple yet so very sacred. The love you give yourself matters just as much as the love you give away. Let me slow down and say that again. The love you give yourself matters just as much as the love you give away. So when you set a boundary, when you say what you need, when you stay home to rest instead of pushing through it, that's not selfish. That's not dramatic. That's not too much. That's just standing in love for yourself. That's saying that I matter too. You know, sometimes I think we confuse emotional awareness with overthinking. We confuse reflection with weakness. But the truth is, it takes courage to stay soft, especially in a world that gives you so many tools to numb yourself. It takes courage to admit when something's not working anymore, to say this doesn't feel right and I don't want to pretend it does. It takes courage to not shrink, to not perform, especially just to make other people feel comfortable. To say, this is who I am and this is what I feel. That's sacred. So if no one's told you today, I see you. I'm proud of you for staying tender, for choosing to feel even when it's extremely inconvenient, even when it's extremely hard. A few things you can repeat to yourself today is, I am safe to feel. My emotions are not too much. My needs matter. This is love too. These are kind of words that are a part of some of my daily mantras as a tender-hearted, very attuned Pisces. So the next time you find yourself wondering, am I too much? Maybe try asking instead, what kind of love am I standing in right now? Because showing up honestly, crying in the shower, taking a break, having the hard conversation, or simply saying, I don't know how I feel, but I'm here to figure it out. That's not weakness. That's not dramatic. That's not overreacting. That's love. And it's more than enough. I hope this resonated with you, or maybe it didn't and you're just here to listen. But anyways, I hope this resonated with at least one person out there. Cry if you want to. Laugh if you want to. But just know I'm here. And so is the Ritual Club. That's what I want this channel community to be about. So thanks for listening, and I hope to talk to you soon. Let's cue the romance music.